welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do my third Stephen King reading vlog. I'm going to be reading Billy Summers. I asked you guys on Instagram if you wanted me to vlog it. You said yes. Well, the majority of you said yes. There was like one person that said no. 94% of you said yes. 94% of you said yes. That's what I'm here to do. My original plan was to read Lisey's Story by Stephen King, but the audiobook automatically returned to my library, and since I did hear from my friend Marcy that the first like 150 pages is slow paced and hard to get into, I'm gonna wait for the audiobook. So instead of reading this one, I checked what other audiobooks were available, and I was able to skip the line. See that? A skip the line loan. So a skip the line loan for Billy Summers, which perfect. So I went ahead and I picked this one up last night. I read the first 28 pages, so I'm very much in the beginning of the story, obviously. Going into chapter 3. So again, it's so funny that I have yet to read a Stephen King horror novel. So my first book that I read was 11/22/63. My second book that I read was The Body, which is actually just like a novella short story. And I never did make that book versus the movie thing. Maybe I'll do that one day. I feel like I'd almost have to like reread the book and rewatch the movie, even though I did write notes about things that were different. I don't know. We'll see if that video ever materializes, but in this reading vlog, I'm going to be reading Billy Summers, which is Stephen King's new release. It came out late last year, I believe. I don't know exactly when, but this one, it says, comes a thrilling new novel about a guy with a streak of good and a bad job. So Billy Summers is a man in a room with a gun. He's a killer for hire and the best in the business. He'll do the job only if the target is a truly bad guy. And now Billy wants out. First, there is one last hit. Billy is among the best snipers in the world, a decorated Iraq War vet, a Houdini when it comes to vanishing after the job is done. So what could possibly go wrong? How about everything? I'm going to be reading Billy Summers instead of Lisey's Story. Lisey's Story I did put back on hold, so eventually that will come. Not sure when, but eventually. I read another 30 pages. I had my breakfast and I read for a little bit. I'm on page 63, chapter 5 now. And basically we have the story of this guy named Billy that is hired for one more job. There's this guy that's behind bars, but he's going to be going to that, like the courthouse for his arraignment. And I just got the biggest head rush right now. Whoa. I don't know. Am I okay? I don't feel like it. Whoa, that was so weird. Okay. Anyway, okay, so you have Billy who is hired to take out this guy that's supposedly a bad guy. In the beginning, they're setting up his like cover story. They got him a house that he can live in. They gave him like a whole new life, driver's license, car, identity, backstory, all of this. And he's gonna be a writer, a hopeful, you know, future author. And he lives in this like small suburban neighborhood, and he's supposed to be friendly with his neighbors, which he is. And then in the daytime he goes to this office building, and that's like his office, like for him to write. And yeah, he's just setting up shop there. But also he's thinking about, okay, I have to kill this guy, and that's why he has to go to the office every day, because the building that his office is in is right across the street from the courthouse. It's like on the 5th floor, so he's planning everything out, and it's just him settling into his new life, or his, you know, fake life, and making it seem believable and stuff like that. But it's 11:30. Daniel is on his way home. He should be getting home any minute now. He had to go to the base and get his updated government ID. He went to his mom's house. Now he's headed home. I have my chiropractor appointment. I have to leave in about 20 minutes. And then I really don't have any other plans today. I'm just looking at the time. I got a call today, which I wish I would not have missed. But I was actually in the bath shaving my legs, so I did miss that call. So I hope if it's who I thought it was that they would call back, but I haven't received that call. Anyway, just trying to keep myself distracted today and read. So I'll go to my chiropractor appointment, and then I will probably come home, eat some lunch, and then read, although I'm not like super hungry because I ate a late breakfast. Let's not talk about what I look like. It's been a rough day. I took off my makeup because I'm breaking out in a couple places, and I'm just trying to have that clear up. Anyway, I've been reading Billy Summers off and on all day. I've basically been eating, reading, drinking, and scrolling my phone. I mean, do I really do anything else? Not really. Okay, I've made it to chapter 11, page 185. And this is like one of those books that you go into thinking like it's about one thing, and then that thing happens, and then the story obviously has a lot more to go. I already really like reading from the perspective of Billy, and he has all these different personas that he's having to portray. So he has all of these different people that he has to like be. He's like obviously the real person, but he's also like this hitman, assassin, and he also has to, he's given like this false identity so he can kind of blend in while he's working this job. And then he also has to get away from that situation when that situation's done. So he's kind of like built up this other person, and he has like 3 different cell phones and 3 different laptops and like all these things. And it's a little crazy because you're also getting part of his story is that he's this writer and he does love to read, but he's also writing his story and he's changing names and stuff like that so that the story never gets traced back to him. But it's just really, really interesting. It's also like sad because you can see him actually becoming ingrained where he was, where like for his cover story, and like why he was there, why he moved there, why he was working there, like all of that. And he gets to know his neighbors, and I don't know, it's just like such a little community for him through his story that he's writing as part of his cover, just so he's not sitting in the office bored all day. He actually does start writing his story. You get his backstory about like his childhood and where he came from and what happened to him and his past and stuff like that. So that's very interesting, very sad. Yeah, it's just crazy. So we got to this really big part. Like I was literally holding my breath and I was just like, oh, and yeah, so that's over now. I don't know where it's gonna go from here. I really, really don't. All right, it is much later, much later. I ended up taking a nap and then I was watching YouTube videos. It's almost 8 p.m. I didn't make dinner. I'm just not in the mood to eat, not in the mood to cook. Actually, I am in the mood to cook. I'm just not hungry, so I didn't make anything. Anyway, but make sure it doesn't say anywhere. Yes, I got some Girl Scout cookies. My friend Amanda's daughter is in the Girl Scouts and was selling cookies, and they live in Florida actually, but now you can do like digital order. So I know there's probably some Girl Scouts in this area, but I don't really see any of them coming door to door right now with everything that's going on in the world. So I wanted to support my friend Amanda's daughter. So I ended up getting 5 boxes of the Samoas. These are my favorite Girl Scout cookies. So I got 5 boxes of those. I already opened up this one and already had like 5 cookies or something like that. I also got 1 box of the tag-alongs, which are the crispy cookies layered with peanut butter and covered with a chocolatey coating. So love those. I also got the classic traditional shortbread cookies. And then new this year, they have these Adventurefuls, which are indulgent brownie inspired cookies with caramel flavored creme and a hint of sea salt. So I got those. So I got a bunch of Girl Scout cookies. Can you see that? And they could not have come at a better time. A nice treat. That was past me taking care of current me. I just heated up my coffee. And like I said, I've been sitting at my desk watching YouTube videos, but I wanted to update you. I'm not really sure when the last time I updated you was, but I am currently on page 198. So I have almost read 200 pages of this today, which is awesome considering like how distracted I've been, scrolling on my phone, watching videos, my chiropractor appointment, having my sad girl hour, the long nap that I took. I think I laid down at like, I don't know what time it was, maybe around 4, and maybe, was it 4? I think it was around 4. I don't know. I didn't really look at the clock, and I slept until like 6 maybe. So I had like a 2-hour nap as well. But yeah, I've made it pretty far. I am enjoying it. I'm still kind of wondering where it's gonna go from here. Hello friends, it is a different day. I am just wearing the same thing that I wore yesterday. Sorry, this is not the best place to put you. I wanted to give you a reading update really quickly on Billy Summers. I am on page 230. So that's what I read yesterday, 230 pages. I think that's pretty amazing. But the real check-in is what I've been up to today. I could stay here and cuddle you all day. Anyway, we're here. It is almost 4 o'clock. It is 3:48 p.m. It is Friday evening now, and I just got home not too long ago, actually. My husband did not have too much of a busy day, so I woke up. Well, actually, I have been keeping my sleep tracker, and I think I want to try to do like a new sleep schedule in February, because my sleep this month has been super affected with everything going on in my life, and it's kind of driving me crazy. So I want to get back on like a normal sleep schedule. So I'm going to start now, but I might make a video about it. I don't know. Anyway, I definitely need to fix my sleep, but I know it's not going to happen anytime soon until a couple of things are resolved, including me calling about jury duty tonight. So we'll see what happens with that. And then there's a couple of other things that I'm dealing with. So I just need to wait until those two things are kind of off my plate. And the jury duty thing is all the rest of this month. So I don't know. That's why I said February, but we shall see what ends up happening. But I slept from 12 until 4 or 3. I think it was 3. And then I went to sleep from whatever 7 until 10. So I finally woke up for the day at 10, and I had my coffee, I played Animal Crossing, I did my Bible study, I braided my hair, and I put on a little bit of makeup, which I'm about to take off actually, because I'm still dealing with like a couple of breakouts. And I have like one down here on my chin, right there. So I want to take off my makeup, but I was like, I should check in while I have makeup on and I don't look scary. So my husband and I, we left. We went to the Coast Guard exchange. So we were there for a little bit. We were looking at laptops. We were looking at shoes. Like, I need 3 pairs of boots, like really, really bad. I don't have any winter boots, so I need winter boots. I also need a pair of hiking boots, and I need hiking boots because they have the shank in them. So if you step on like a rock or a twig or a limb or anything like that, the sole of the foot doesn't like curve over, it stays flat. So I need those. And then I also just need a pair of like everyday, like, oh, I'm going out to Target type boots. So an everyday pair, winter pair, and hiking pair. And I've been looking for, I feel like ever, but today we were like, we're finding something. So we went to the Coast Guard exchange, looked at laptops, looked at boots, didn't find anything. I tried on a bunch of stuff. And then we went to this local store. It's called like Earth to Water or Water to Earth. I don't know. We jokingly call it Earth, Wind, and Fire. So we went to this like local hiking place and they didn't have anything. Then we went to lunch at Jason's and got that. And then after that, we went to DSW, tried on a couple of things, found a pair of boots, very exciting. And then we went to like Dick's and Field and Stream and looked there as well. And then we came home, and now it's almost 4 o'clock. But I'm going to show you the boots that I got. They're kind of like good for hiking. They do have a shank in them, but they also have a heel, and I'm using them more of a winter boot than a hiking boot. But let me show you. They kind of look like duck boots in a way from LL Bean, which we were going to go to LL Bean today, but I called, and the boots that I wanted to try there, they only had them in a size 11, and I'm a size 8, so that obviously was not going to work. So these are the boots that I ended up getting. They look just like duck boots, like the fronts and the leather up here, but they're actually Wolverines, which is a company in Michigan. And I like that they have this little part right here, and see how they have a heel on them, and then the tread looks like this, but they have the ties, but they also have a zipper. So I already have them tied, and then I'll have to just slip my foot in and then zip them up. So I'm very happy with these. And they do have like a little bit of like fleece inside. So they do keep you, you know, kind of warm. They're not like the warmest, but I do live like near the beach, so it doesn't get like too cold here ever. But yeah, so these are for when you take off your boots. So like if you have one on and you're, you know, taking it off, you go like that and it helps you take off your boots. But these are my new boots. I'm really happy I got these. But it's windy outside, it's gray and overcast, so I think I'm just gonna read in bed for a while. I'm just gonna get some Samoas, and I have a few of these, read my book, might make an iced coffee. That sounds good. I see you, Charlie. All right, I have my iced London fog. I'm gonna get smooth. So I do need to cook dinner tonight because I did not cook last night. What did we have? I don't even remember if I ate last night, but it's like 4. So I have about like 2 hours until I cook dinner, and then we're going to be watching The Witcher. We wanted to start season 2, but we're rewatching season 1 first, and then we're going to jump into season 2. Yeah. All right. I'm going to make my bed, get myself situated, read for a little bit for about maybe 2 hours, and then make dinner. Charlie, what do you think you're doing? Good morning. It is Saturday. I'm making chai latte. I have my milk in half and half. I'm just dumping this in there. All right, good morning, friends. I have my chai tea latte in my home sweet home mug, and that's delicious. Reading update. I made it to chapter 19, page 377 last night. This is more of a character-driven story than a plot-driven story. Like, it's more about the characters than it is about the plot. Also, you might hear Charlie eating her breakfast in the background. But anyway, so it is more character driven than plot driven. There is a plot happening, but it's all about like the characters, but I'm really enjoying it. It kind of reminds me of that movie a little bit of Black Hawk Down that had like Ethan Hawke in it. It's like a military type action movie, I guess you would say, because Billy William Summers is an old retired military person, and they're writing their story about the things that happened. So when you get to parts like this, so this is like the regular book and this is what he's writing. Very interesting. Reminds me of my days at the military. Not that I've been in situations like that, but I knew a lot of people that were in situations like that, and we talked about a lot of that type of stuff. So that's going on, and I just like genuinely like the characters, even though like, is Billy a good guy or is he a bad guy? It's that morally gray fine line thing where yes, he is a sniper, he is a hired assassin, but like he's taking out guys that are worse than him, you know? I finished Billy Summers by Stephen King, and I'm here with my final thoughts, my rating, my review, all of that. I want to start by saying that it wasn't really the best time for me to vlog, but I forged ahead and it did get me through some rough spots in my personal life. I am dealing with a lot of anxiety and heartbreak right now. My uncle unexpectedly passed away, and I also have jury duty for the rest of January, but it's unlike like just appearing in court. I have to call every night to find out what to do next, and it's like this, I don't know, cat and mouse game of, am I actually going to have to go to the courthouse? So far, no, but I call again on Tuesday night, which will be after my uncle's funeral, and then hopefully, hopefully I won't have to appear, because then Wednesday I have something else to do family-wise. But anyway, I'm just going through a lot of heartbreak right now, so I'm sorry this vlog wasn't as cheerful as some of my other videos. I also just don't want to make that like an excuse, because I decided to go ahead and vlog it, so, you know, and I don't want sympathy. I don't want you guys to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, because yes, it sucks, but people die every day, and I appreciate your thoughts and your prayers, but I want to keep the comment section positive and uplifting, other than me having to think about all of the crappy things going on in my life. So if you could leave me something positive that has happened to you so far this year, that would be amazing. Those are the comments that I want to see. Also, I just want to know if you've read this book, if you're interested in this book, all of that. So talk that type of stuff down in the comments. Let's keep it positive down there. Okay, so now my thoughts. Like I said, I have yet to read a Stephen King horror novel, which I think is hilarious, because that's what he's typically like most well known for. But I have read 11/22/63, The Body, which is like Stand By Me in book form, and then this one, and this one is by far my favorite. I would say that Billy Summers is a crime fiction. Let me adjust that a little bit. I would say that Billy Summers is a crime fiction book about a man, a retired war veteran. He was over in Iraq, and he was a sniper, and now he is using those skills. He's like one of the best in the biz, and he is a assassin for hire, basically. And I guess he's been doing this for the last few years, but he only kills bad men. And he decides that he wants to leave the biz, but he's going to take this one last job because it has a very hefty payout of $2 million. And he says, okay, I'm gonna do this one last job. So that's like a big trope in crime thrillers, like when you're dealing with like contract killing, assassins, things like that. And so he says, okay, this is the one last job. It also has the book within a book, and I'll get to that in a minute. So the beginning of the novel, it starts slow enough where he's being like introduced, like, hey, here's this job, do you want it or not? So you're learning kind of a little bit of what the job is about, and then they're kind of taking him around, like, this is where you will live for the time being, this is where you will work for the time being, this is a little bit of the backstory that we've built up for you, here's the players involved, and all of this. And then they kind of like leave him to sit on it. But we already know, obviously, that he's going to take the job. So the thing about this job is it's not just a go out and do something. It's a longer type job. It could be days, weeks, months until he has to actually take the shot. And so basically the person that he's killing is in jail, and they're waiting to hear word that he's going for arraignment at the courthouse. And so they build up this whole backstory for him about like who he is, what his job is, why he has suddenly moved into the neighborhood, and why he's suddenly working at this office building and all of that. And the reason that they give is that he is a writer, he's working on his book, he's, you know, it's close to deadline, and he just needs to buckle down and get his book written. And so he moves into this neighborhood, he gets to know people in the neighborhood, he starts working in this office building, which is across from the courthouse. So he's in the office building to keep an eye on the courthouse and be there so that whenever the guy goes from the jail to the courthouse, he could take the shot. So he gets to know people in the office building. So he's basically settling into his new persona, his new identity. And since he is an author, he gets like a laptop and he starts actually writing a story. Make it seem like it's not about his life, so he's like changing names and stuff like that, but it's about his childhood. So we get like that backstory and about his time in Iraq and his buddies and what went down over there. And it's just really, really interesting. So it does have like some wartime military like stuff going on, but I found that super interesting, like being that I was in the military myself, and a lot of the people that I would talk to and stuff like that have been in situations that are not exactly like the same, obviously, but similar. And I'm used to being around that kind of talk. It kind of also reminded me of that movie Black Hawk Down in a way. And the violence of this book actually reminded me of Razorblade Tears, especially like in the second half of the book. And the writing, how it starts off one way, but it kind of goes like down this rabbit hole, kind of reminded me of Since We Fell by Dennis Lehane. Not the same stories at all, but just like the violence of Razorblade Tears mixed with the military stuff of Black Hawk Down, mixed with the kind of like the story starting off one way and then like going into another thing and then going into another thing, that style of Since We Fell. So it was kind of like a mix of those three things, and I really, really liked it. I loved the characters. Also, in the second half, you meet another character that kind of becomes a little bit more important in the story than you initially think they're going to be, and I thought that was super interesting. Overall, just go into it knowing that it's not horror, and it's, I mean, it does have some horrifying things in it for sure. Like I said, it has a lot of violence and stuff, but it's more like bad men doing horrifying things than it is like, I don't know, like ghosts and goblins and paranormal or things like that. But crime fiction, really, really liked it. I ended up rating the story 4 out of 5 stars. The only reason I deducted a star is because towards the end, there's a part where he goes to a location and then he leaves the location, and then he's kind of giving the rundown of everything that he learned from going to that location. And it kind of reminded me, like, you watch a Scooby-Doo episode and then towards the last 5 minutes of the show, they give you the rundown like, oh, Mr. Myers is the guy behind the mask because blah, 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 blah. And you're like, whoa, whiplash. because, you know, Stephen King is known for, you know, drawing out his stories, lots of details, slower pace most times, or at least in the books that I have read. And then all of a sudden you're just like thrown into like all this information, all this like stuff that you have to like start holding in your head pretty quickly to kind of follow along, like what's going on. And it's like, it basically explains like the conspiracy theory of a 500-page book in like 2 to 5 pages. And it's just a little bit of whiplash. And I didn't get emotional or anything at the end. I kind of did expect certain things to happen in the story. I wish they wouldn't have had to happen, but I think that it had like a really good ending as well. So yeah, 4 out of 5 stars for this one. The only reason I took off a star is because of that little info dumpy bit. It was like, what? But yeah, I like the story within a story. I loved Billy Summers like so much. It was one of those like morally gray characters where he's killing people, but you're like rooting for him at the same time. Anyway, I really enjoyed this one. It's my favorite Stephen King to date, and I can't wait to see which Stephen King I pick up next. But that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a lovely day or night, and I'll see you guys again in my next video, which should be very soon. Bye guys.